Good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Philly Sports Talk, NBA Playoff Edition. And the Sixers come into Sunday not knowing who they're playing, so we can't address a specific opponent, but we'll definitely talk NBA and all things Sixers. I'm Bobby Cash, and we're here with Chris Amos. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, it's going pretty good. That's a good way to start the show with saying that a Philadelphia team has the number one seed. And it's good to be here on IE Sports Radio. You're listening to Philly Sports Talk with Cassie and Chris. IE Sports Radio, this is your direct feed for all the sports. And, hey, we said it all along. We need the Sixers to get that number one seed, and they went ahead and did it. So now they just got to take care of business.
Yeah, and you know, they got the number one seed, and the reward is not knowing what team they're playing. And, you know, a lot of Philadelphians are saying it doesn't matter. It's just going to be a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals. And it may well be, but I don't like this play-in tournament. I don't like the whole setup of it. I think that 7 and 8 seed earned their way into the playoffs. There were 72 games. There's no need to give Charlotte a chance at 33 and 39. All right.
Well, I agree with that. And the other point that I would make, and I'll ask you the question.
Right.
I didn't really have it or hear it discussed that much. Maybe it was this week off for the Sixers. Is that going to be a good or bad thing?
Well, a team that had, you know, injuries, nagging injuries, Embiid, I think it's a good thing for him as far as a flow. And, you know, I think you may be a little rusty your first game just from the, you know, game speed, shooting standpoint. You know, hopefully it's not a team like Indiana tonight who's playing the first playoff game. They went 10 for 20 in the first half from three. That's not the kind of team the Sixers need to play. You know, we've gone over their 3-point defense a lot this year, and it hasn't been great. So if a team's shooting 10 for 20, they could beat anybody on any night.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think the thing a lot of us as Philadelphia sports fans, and I would assume this takes place other places too, but of course not being as in tune with other places, where we look back to the history of what other teams have done over different seasons and think, well, those things are going to show up again with the team this season, because we've seen some horrendous first games of the series and opening playoff games for Philadelphia set up the Sixers going back over the years.
Yep.
Now, in the first round, they've ended up correcting themselves. I mean, when the Sixers were the better team, but last year it was tough with in the bubble against Boston because Ben Simmons was hurt.
Yeah, last year was a shot right before the end of the season. Simmons got hurt in the bubble, and that pretty much threw away any chance we had. But, you know, we've gone out and acquired some 2 3-point shooters. We've got Danny Green and Seth Curry, which we needed, because the year before when they had Butler and Ilyasova and what's his name, Bellinelli, they looked really good. It looked like they could have gone to the finals that year if it wasn't for the triple doink by Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, the Sixers took them exactly to the last second of Game 7 in Toronto that year, and Toronto ended up being the team that won the championship. Now, I don't know if the Sixers would have won that game if they could have pushed that to overtime. That would have led to them being the NBA champions. Just something to speculate on, but we really don't know. Yeah, you would look at this right now. I think the first round should not be difficult. The second round should not be difficult. So, as fans, we have a tendency to say either, oh no, that's not how it's going to be. It's the Sixers, so things will be difficult. Or you have the other side of the coin. Okay, how do they beat Brooklyn in the Eastern Conference Finals? You can already look. So I don't know which one to do. I guess it's just like the players say, take it one game at a time.
Yeah. Taryn on the chat board says the Sixers are good this year, but can they get past Brooklyn? We just said that. And also, Miami-Milwaukee looks like a matchup to watch for. It certainly does. I think Miami may be Milwaukee's kryptonite, like just like last year. They beat them. It's definitely a tough matchup for Milwaukee. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach, and he already knows how to beat them. He beat them last year. So that could be a repeat. We could see a Brooklyn-Miami second round. For the first round, I hear a lot of talk that Boston doesn't really want to win tonight because winning tonight would make them play Brooklyn.
They'd rather face Philadelphia.
Yeah. So what kind of game is that going to be to watch? Both teams missing their shots on purpose.
Well, all I have to say about that was that if that's what Boston wants, I think it would very quickly become something that they would be a little remiss in wanting. I think after what took place last year, the last couple of years in the playoffs, and just the fact that the Sixers are a better team than Boston, and especially with the injuries that Boston has now, the Sixers are a far better team. So
Boston basically Tatum, and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no Jaylen Brown. There's no Gordon Hayward from last year. They have Kemba Walker, but he's not the difference maker in a 7-game series.
Well, and here's the other thing too that Boston is looking at. Brett Brown's no longer coaching the Sixers.
Right. So you're gonna have Miami, Milwaukee in the first round. The other interesting series is Atlanta and the Knicks. The Knicks are a Tom Thibodeau defensive team. We know that. They like to hold their opponents under 100, basically because they can only score about 100. You're playing an Atlanta team that can score 120, 130. So that's going to be, can the Knicks hold them to the low 100s? I don't know. I mean, that's tough to keep a team 20 points under their average. But
that's a 7-game series stares in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that something too that also plays into the Sixers' advantage? If they take care of their business at 4 or 5 games, and the other teams, those two teams have to fight into a 7-game series.
Yeah, could be another week.
It should.
Yeah, this could be a very anticlimactic playoff run for the Sixers. There could be a lot of time off. There could be a lot of sitting and waiting.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at it from the way we're looking now and being able to discuss things, you would think that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, of course, how many times have we in Philadelphia thought things were going to happen and they didn't? But right now, that's the way it looks.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Sixers are sitting for a week. I wouldn't be one bit surprised if come Sunday they struggle, and then they either lose.
I wouldn't either. I don't know who it's against, but
right. Well,
but yeah,
I think it's pretty safe to say it's not going to be Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't think it will be.
They're down by about 30 last I checked.
Yeah, it's not going to be Charlotte.
No.
And if they do struggle and win, it'll be the sky's falling. If they struggle and lose, it'll be, there's no way they're making these Eastern Conference Finals.
Nah,
And
not for me. If they lose, it's no big deal. The first game?
It would just depend. It would depend on the way that they lost.
Yeah.
As well, but you're right. That's something that they might just be expected.
I mean, the way Indiana's playing right now, it looks like it could very well be them. Sabonis is was questionable, and he's playing. Brogdon was questionable, he's playing. The only guy they're missing is LeVert. He's out 14 days, COVID protocol. That was a last minute thing for them. He's got to be careful because he just had surgery earlier in the year, I think, on removed cancer. So he's got to be careful. He's not going to be back anytime soon. So he'll probably miss the whole first round.
Well, we always talk sometimes here, or try to get to on the show, and it's just going to be one I think that's coming up now since you're talking about Atlanta. We do the Philly flashback. I can remember, not Atlanta, I'm talking about Indiana here. I can remember back when they were still doing 3 out of 5, and an Allen Iverson team losing game 1. I think that was round 1 also that they lost to Indiana that game. Now, they did come back and beat them 3 straight after that, but it was, I think it was a buzzer beater in game 1 that the Sixers lost at home.
Yep.
And that wasn't That wasn't too fun, that game, but to see them then come back and win 3 straight in that series, I'm not positive what year that was. It may have been 2001 when they got to the finals.
Was Reggie Miller still on Indiana at the time?
I think so.
Yeah, Reggie Miller, Dale Davis.
Right near the end when he was just about done. I can just remember Mark Zumoff making the comment after the Sixers had finally eliminated them that the Pacer demon is dead.
Yeah, it seems like they did play them a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. T.J. McConnell hits a runner. Weird seeing him play for another team. He's getting a lot of minutes, too. He was favorite son of Philadelphia for a little bit there. Yeah, I still look at T.J. McConnell and I say, he's 6'3". He does not look 6'3" on the court.
No, he doesn't. No, he played well a couple years ago in Game 4 when the Sixers were down 3-0 to Boston. Yeah, he played well. I remember a Game 1 he made against the Knicks in New York. I think that was in New York when he made that game.
Yeah, it was against the Knicks, yeah. He just had another shot. Up there, Indiana by 30, so they're going to advance. Charlotte's going to be eliminated. It's going to give us a little clearer idea. So basically going to play the winner of the loser tonight versus Indiana. It just stinks that all these local shows and all these TV shows they can't do a preview for the playoffs for the Sixers.
No, the one team in the playoffs, I don't know how bad Bradley Beal is, that injury is, but Washington's going to be a tough out for somebody.
Yeah, they are. Russell Westbrook's amazing right now. Player of the month in the Eastern Conference. He averaged 24 points, 16 assists, and 13 rebounds for the month. That's numbers you've never seen.
No.
Any player.
Looking at it, the way that they come on, that's someone you don't want to see in the playoffs if you really don't have to.
Right. And I think they'd handle them, but it wouldn't make it easy playing a guy like Westbrook. Luckily, we do have the perimeter defenders. We have Simmons and Thibault who would clamp them down probably the entire game.
And they have no answer for Embiid, so
right.
it would be interesting. I mean, you would think that the Sixers would win. Yeah, just to add here, we have the Phillies going on right now at Citizens Bank Park, losing to the Miami Marlins. Now, how many times have you heard that before?
Every season for the past 10 years, probably.
Oh, every season. I don't care if Zach goes on the mound or not.
Nope.
I mean, it makes no difference. The Phillies just can't score.
They can't. And Miami's throwing a guy out of the minors, Poteet, number 72. Guy they called up last minute. And Philly can't even score off the guy. Their offense is just anemic right now.
Well, I think there's just something. I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something that's not right there. I don't know if it's from Girardi. I don't know if it's coming from players in the clubhouse. I don't know what it is, but there's just something that's not right there. I would say probably it's that catcher they signed in the offseason would point to it as well, that money could have been used for something better than what he's given them. Yeah. But then again, the fans wanted him, and he's there. He's
not playing again tonight. He's out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen injuries like this on a baseball team. Harper's playing tonight, but he's hurt. I mean, this has been a theme, too. They're just running all over Nash. I haven't seen him turn on a runner all season.
Right, and he also is someone who probably shouldn't be playing because he was injured the other day as well.
Yeah.
And it's just they have to put him in there. And it's one of those things. I was thinking about this after Sunday's game when, of course, they started Chase Anderson that game, which you might as well start me or Bobby in for that game as well. And Scott Kingery kind of sums up the Philadelphia Phillies organization to me, because could you see a player like that playing on the Dodgers?
Never.
It's just with the Yankees.
And this is a guy that they gave a 7-year, $21 million contract to before he ever played a game in the major leagues. That's the kind of talent evaluation they have in the system. A Mickey Moniak, a number 1 pick overall, who looks like he's not ever going to make it in the major leagues. I was looking at Scott Kingery's stats yesterday. He's batted 19 times this season. How many times he struck out?
16, right?
12.
12?
Yeah. How many hits does he have? How many hits?
One.
Yeah.
I remember that hit. it was he did it through the shift. Why his shift was on for Kingery, I don't know.
It used to be Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa got the shift.
Now Scott Kingery.
So between him, Moniak, and Quinn, I think there's something like 7 for 87 on the year.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I think Zach Wheeler has more hits than that.
Was that going to get some hits tonight?
He did. He was on base. He was on base last inning. Seems like he's always on base.
Yeah, I guess driving home from my stepdaughter's softball game, I missed him getting on base. Is that when they got around the Hoskins and he popped out
Yep.
to the catcher?
Yeah, 2 runners on.
Yeah. It's been frustrating. I know we kind of transitioned here because the game's going on with the Phillies off of the Sixers, and I guess we'll swing back to basketball and take a look at some of the teams probably that are in the playoffs out west. But it's just been frustrating with this recent road trip, and as you said, with some injuries and Aaron Nola pitching on the road, you might as well just put your money against whoever he's playing, whoever's going against the Phillies in that game. Because Aaron Nola on the road is automatic loss now.
Yeah, so you just skip them on the road and wait till they get home.
Well, that's the thing I don't understand too. They always seem to skip. Whenever there's a spot there where they could skip someone in the rotation, they don't skip Chase Anderson for some reason.
Yes, I know.
There was no reason for him to pitch Sunday.
No reason for him to pitch anything.
Well, that's a good point.
So,
I mean, any kind of third that he lasted.
I know. I love having the TV here in the studio.
Yes.
I get to watch the games again. I'm watching Tampa Bay. They look unbeatable. They look like a machine. I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning.
That was a team that I would expect to possibly win everything. I mean, I did think maybe a push out of the Washington Capitals because of Ovechkin and somehow just put it together. But that's a good series that they're in right now. With Boston tied 1-1, both games ending in overtime.
Yeah, definitely 2 great games. But
Tampa's fast.
I watched the entire Tampa game the other night. That they are talented. It's like watching an all-star team. And I know they pulled some, people say cap circumvention by sitting Kucherov out the whole season. But hey, they played the rules. That's the rules, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, you can't complain because if your team was doing it and playing like the Lightning, nobody was saying anything. Right.
But Vegas didn't have them as the favorite, which is shocking. They were 8-1. Now they're starting to creep up a little bit.
Yeah, how's the Flyers playoff series going?
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, those guys, they're hitting the golf course.
Yeah. I said that to somebody I work with today. We were talking, and I said, watching these games, it's like a different sport. Watching a team like Tampa Bay, they have Stamkos and Kucherov. The Flyers haven't had two guys that talented in their existence. Eric Lindros is the only player I've ever seen on the Flyers that was a superstar.
Right. I mean, they've had some excellent complementary players over the years. We know, of course, with John McClare, Mark Recchi. A little bit of Danny Riera there for a little bit, but he didn't live up to the hype. I mean, Giroux is third all time now on the Flyers list of points, but I mean, a lot of those points he got really didn't amount to the Flyers having any playoff success.
Exactly. They were just somebody had to get the points.
Right. I mean, the Flyers really haven't made a deep playoff run since 2010, and they really probably should have been in the playoffs that year, and actually ended up making the biggest run that they've had in the past decade.
Like watching these games, it's like watching. Know what I compare it to? It's like watching the Philadelphia Union. What's the league they play in? They play in the ML, Major League Soccer. It's like the difference between Major League Soccer and the Champions League. That's what these games are like. The passing's on point. Everything's like a fine-tuned machine. The Flyers are just a dump and chase, no talent team. And Shane checks in and says, Recchi and Gagne.
Yes, Mel Gagne. Yes, one of my favorite all-time players.
Yeah. Mark Recchi was a great player, but most of his scoring is with Pittsburgh.
Well, the best thing Mark Recchi did for the Flyers was bring them John McClare.
Yeah.
And Eric Desjardins.
Yeah, from Montreal. Do you think John LeClaire was really that great, or he was a product of Lindros? Lindros made him.
Half and half.
Yeah.
Half and half. Well, he had games of 4 or 5 goals at times.
Yeah.
But that was Lindros. But yeah, LeClaire put up decent numbers and points every season. And you're right, though. It could have been a product of those that he was playing with. But see, that's one of those things, too, when you look at sports. At times, you need players like that who can play with other players, and then everything comes together, and that's called a team.
Yeah.
Maybe someone should go explain that to the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay, we always have people making the comments, well, they have Aaron Nola, they have Zach Wheeler, they have JT Realmuto, they have Bryce Harper, Reese Hoskins is there. It's like, okay, you're right. And you can get to the end of seasons and say, boy, these guys put up some decent numbers. But as a fan, I'm not concerned about numbers. I want to see a team win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, good numbers usually equate to a team winning, but...
Yeah, well, we've seen that in Philadelphia where that's been a struggle because whenever we make a comment against, especially JT Realmuto, well, look at his numbers. I mean, he has 270. He'll not get 20 to 25 home runs. He's won Gold Gloves, or he's been the best defensive catcher and all this stuff. I understand that.
Yeah, that's what they need to change his nickname to. The best defensive catcher in baseball. Not the best catcher in baseball.
Well, he is. He's the best offensive catcher in baseball when the score is 5 or plus runs. He's pretty good then.
Yeah, 11-1 in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Facing the other team's worst pitchers. So, I mean, the Phillies, you keep hearing rumors about Chris Bryant. You hear, who else did I hear? I heard Chris Bryant.
Was the center? Is it the center fielder from the Texas Rangers?
Joey Gallo. But Joey Gallo is not really a center fielder.
No, that's what they wanted to play.
I mean, he's a power hitter. He's a big guy. He's not a center fielder.
I know. How is there not someone in the organization? In the minors.
Well, there is. The number 1 pick, and he's not going to make it. Mickey Moniak.
I just can't get on the field, and it's like they got
can't hit. Can't hit major league pitching.
No, all we needed to see was Scott Kingery there. Just the fact that was the option they had to go to. Is saying all that needs to be said.
But all these players the Phillies get, these Kingerys, these Dominic Browns, I've never seen players come up and start out so well. You think they're going to be all-stars, and then they just never hit again. Does this happen on other teams? Does this happen to the St. Louis Cardinals? I don't hear this with other teams unless we're missing it.
Well, there's 2 players that in a year or 2 we may be saying the same thing about right now in the Flyers. And that's Nick Maton, and that's also
Maton's here.
Maton and Alex Bohm.
Yeah, I hope not. Bohm. I think Bohm has a good swing, and he hits the ball opposite field, which I like.
Yeah, it's just like you said. It just seems like somehow these guys, once they start to go south, they stay there.
Yeah, is that like organizational? Is that the coaching, the video department? I don't know.
I don't know.
They don't adjust. The league makes adjustments to them. They don't adjust back.
No, do they need to get on those shakes that with Chip Kelly that he was trying?
Yeah.
Those specialty shakes or whatever for the. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. More fitness.
And it's one of those things too where we've heard over the years that these certain guys coming up through the minors are going to be able to come to the major leagues and get major league batters out. I mean, I'm talking pitchers. Spencer Howard comes to mind. Well, he pitched well on Sunday. Okay, if Spencer Howard was what everyone thought he should be, there's no Chase Anderson.
Well, I was just going to say that. I think he should be starting over Chase Anderson. What do you have to lose?
Right.
He's throwing 96, 99. I mean, run him out there. Anderson's not making it past the 5th inning anyway.
The guy hasn't gotten out in the sixth inning all season.
I know, he probably never will.
They have a guy. What's that guy? What's the guy's name? The 19-year-old now who can crank it up to 99 plus.
Mick Abel.
Yes.
Who they put a tweet out about him. You saw what I wrote. They won't bring him up till he's 26.
Yeah, the tweet I put out there was, well, and that's a possibility, and if not, they'll package him in a deal for a player with potential.
Yeah.
And then we'll see him pitching in the playoffs, like we saw Sixto last year.
Where's Sixto? I haven't seen him much this year.
No, he ended up being hurt in spring training and hasn't made it back. I think he's with Sir Anthony Dominguez, where you know it's that injury, and then you go to that island and no one hears from you again.
Okay. I might even find an article about Dominguez.
No, I mean he was the Phillies' most promising bullpen pitcher 2 seasons ago, and.
If anybody listening wants to get into sports writing, write an article on Sir Anthony Dominguez. You would probably get a lot of views. You'd be the only one out there.
Yeah, exactly. Or no more. If you want to get into detective work, see if you can find out where it is.
Well, we digress. We're supposed to talk NBA here. So.
I know the problem we have is these Phillies games are on every night. When we're on, it's either Zach Wheeler every week, and it always seems like they're doing really well, and just getting to that tipping point to where the game is getting to turn the other team's favor. Whereas tonight, they're playing Miami, and it's a struggle.
Yep. They got a lead-off double. Fifth inning. It's the same thing every week. Every Tuesday night, it's the same deal. We're down 2-0, 2-1. Always never score. And I'm not even supposed to be watching. I said I wouldn't watch until they released Hector Neris.
Well, I think you said that, but I think it's more or less everyone understood you really wouldn't care until they released him.
Yeah. All right.
And he hasn't pitched in a while, so.
No, he hasn't. He'll probably pitch tonight at some point.
Probably.
All right, let's do the series we can preview. We did Knicks. I said Knicks, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Miami. Go to the West. The Clippers and Dallas. The Clippers basically gave away the number 3 seed on Sunday. They sat all their players. They could have been the 3 seed. They tied with Denver. They could have been 48-24, and so they ended up 47-25. I don't understand for the life of me why they did that. I don't know if they didn't want to play Portland. They'd rather play Dallas. But they basically
I'm not so sure there. I would think
they played Dallas last season, and they did beat them in the playoffs.
yes, they did. I would think. Well, that's one of those things too, where Portland can be up or down.
Exactly.
Same with Dallas. You would think the Clippers would be able to handle either team.
But I think they feel more confident against Luka than they do against Damian Lillard.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So I think the Clippers will take that series. Then you got Denver and Portland, the 3-6 series. And Denver's, of course, missing Jamal Murray. Portland, one-man team. A little bit of C.J. McCollum. You got Carmelo Anthony, probably, which, ending his career probably this season or next.
Well, the MVP's on Denver, correct?
Yeah, Jokic. Yeah.
I guess so. I don't get it, but
Me either.
it would definitely be Embiid if you could miss so many games.
Definitely. I mean, and how do you not have Russell Westbrook in the conversation? He gets no talk at all, no respect. And Steph Curry, too.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly whose name was just going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
At this point, those guys have to be at least in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be top 5. But you don't see it reflected anywhere. Oh, speaking of Clippers, Dallas. Anyone listening? I know they're not a sponsor, but DraftKings is having a $25 bet, and right now it's at 104 points for the game. It's a free bet, not a free bet. It's a no-brainer, they call it. So by the time the game starts, the over/under will probably be 1 point. No, that's for everybody. That's for everybody.
That's for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
So stop in and get your free $25 on that.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. See how that's for everybody.
Yeah, I like to take care of the listeners. Yeah.
Who's there? Yeah, good for them.
I already put it in. It was 104 when I put it in. Every 1,500 people that bet it goes down 1 point.
Yeah, I think that'll happen.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then you got Phoenix, which is waiting for tomorrow night's game between the Lakers and Golden State. They'll play the winner of that game.
Which should be
A great game.
Golden State.
You think?
I think it should be Golden State. Yes.
Yeah. Then you got Utah. They're the number 1 seed, so they won't know either. They're either going to play Memphis, San Antonio, the Lakers, or the Warriors.
It's very interesting because when you say that Utah is number 1 seed out there, the Sixers number 1 seed in the East. Those teams are completely different teams.
Yeah. The only
outside shooting and inside presence. Yep.
Yeah, but Gobert's not the offensive presence that Embiid is, not by anywhere close. I kind of like San Antonio in that versus Memphis. I think Popovich.
I do too.
Yeah, I think Popovich will have a way to beat a 4-game above 500 Memphis team. Young team. I mean, San Antonio's young too, but much better coach.
Memphis is always that team where it's like, they're going to be really good this year. Watch out for them, and they're always mediocre.
Yeah, they don't have the star power.
They don't.
They have John Morant, young player, Brandon Clark. They're a bunch of 10 to 15 point scorers instead of a 20 to 30 point scorer, which you need to win in the NBA.
They need a Russell Westbrook on that team.
And you might see, yeah. And I'm sure Russell's not going to stay on Washington.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was a surprise in all season when he was moved there.
Yeah, and I think he just, he did everything he had to do this year just to be, stay on the up and up, and he'll probably ask for a trade in the offseason to a better team. I'd like to see him on a great team. You saw it early in his career with Oklahoma City when he had Harden and Durant. They were so shocked they didn't win a championship.
I know Casey fit in pretty well.
Philadelphia?
I think so.
Would you do Simmons for him straight up?
Oh, boy.
That's a good conversation, huh?
Yeah, the first thing that comes up is age.
Yeah, exactly. What is Westbrook, 30, 31?
I think so. I think there's
I'll get the
a year difference between the two.
I'll get the staff in the back to look it up.
Because that's one of those things, a little bit of the sports talk I heard today in his comments were, well, the Sixers don't make it this year. And I think making it this year would have to be to the finals. It's time to break up Simmons and Embiid. I don't know how the Sixers will do that. I think maybe that's what a lot of fans are thinking.
I think if they get to Eastern Conference Finals and play the Nets and they lose in 7, then they just lost to a better team. But if it's any other scenario, I agree with you.
If everyone on the Nets is healthy, and that happens.
Right. Russell Westbrook's 32.
What's that?
He's 32, Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
He'll be 33 in November. So, yeah, that's the only thing stopping me from saying go ahead.
Yeah, now the question I wanted to ask you, when we're looking here at Sixers playoffs again, at this point, how do you rate the process?
To be determined. At this point, it hasn't produced anything. It's a failure right now.
I can go with the argument that if they don't win the championship, it's been a failure. Or if you look at the fact, okay, this has been a good stretch of Sixers basketball. Was it really worth it going through that to get to this stretch? Well, yeah, to a point it was, but okay, this stretch is nice. Let's get to the next stretch.
Yeah, but if you don't win the championship, it was all for nothing because you could have done it a different way. You could have got free agents, and you could have gone through the draft anyhow. I mean, look at all the draft picks they blew. It's not like it was perfection in the draft. They basically they only got Embiid because he fell to them. Yeah. This guy pitching for Miami tonight looks like a guy you see at a local softball league.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He does. But going against the Phillies, I mean, he looks like, it's Sandy Koufax.
He's throwing junk.
This guy's right-handed, so okay, it's Greg Maddox out there now.
I mean, he's just throwing junk up there. It's like a knuckleball. That was 92. Speaking of junk, did you see the pitch last night by the Anaheim Angels pitcher? I don't remember his name. It was a long last name. 47 miles an hour.
Oh, wow. I did not see
It was the slowest pitch in the major leagues ever recorded. The guy hit a home run on it. It was a knuckleball. He just lobbed it up there. 47. They were down a lot. They were down by like 10 runs. I don't think he was a position player. I think he was an actual a pitcher. It looked like Bartolo Colon out there. Big guy.
I wouldn't mind seeing him get a start for the Phillies.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's available somewhere.
Over Chase Anderson. I don't know.
I know Bartolo's making some commercials or whatever. Yeah, the Angels are running into the Anaheim Angels ran into a bit of bad luck with
Mike Trout.
Trout hurt himself.
I caught the tail end of it. How long did they say he's out?
I didn't see that. I don't know if he stayed there. If they put him on the 10-day already.
Right before we went on the air, I saw an alert came on the TV, and Mike Trout is at the sideline, but I couldn't see from where I was sitting what it said.
Calf injury going between second and third base.
Yeah, I saw it happen, but I didn't hear the diagnosis.
Yeah, those calf injuries can take a while.
Yeah. Zach Wheeler about to get on base again. All right, we covered the NBA. We covered our frustrating Phillies. We'll do a couple commercials. We'll come back and we'll go over the Eagles schedule, which got released since we've last been on the air. We'll go
over that, and we had a signing this week from Washington, a player to bolster the Eagles defense, and we'll see how that goes. And before we play those commercials, I want to read something from a sponsor of ours now, and one of the sponsors here is the Southern California Warriors. And Southern California Warriors are a semi-pro football team, and the world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sports. You may get a second chance that you have been waiting for. On social media, it's at SoCal Warriors. That will be Twitter. On Twitter, at SoCal Warriors. And if you go to IE Sports Radio, it's the same thing. You can follow them. Their Twitter feed is there. And also on Instagram at IE Sports Radio, you can find the SoCal Warriors. And let me say, from those of us here in Philadelphia, if we are talking about a semi-pro team that is in California, you know it's something for you guys to check out. It is a sponsor of ours, but also it's a good thing. Check them out. Give them your time. It won't be something you'll regret. SoCal Warriors, check them out today.
Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.
Yep, be right back.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome in to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and you're listening to IE Sports Radio. If you like big, nasty hits, if you like slap shots straight to the neck, if you like it when the gloves hit the ice, and the big boys get down. And this is your show on IE Sports Radio. This is the Neutral Zone. May our shots on goal always be true and straight to the net. If they are not, may they be followed up, redirected, or change collected. Let's go on IE Sports Radio with me, your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and this is the Neutral Zone.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, everyone. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. Two guys that have exactly the same amount of RBIs as the Phillies tonight.
Yeah, we do. You can say that on a lot of nights. It seems. You know, one thing I want to mention here when we get into the second part here is congratulations to IE Sports Radio on their 7th anniversary this past weekend. For 7 years, IE Sports Radio has been your direct feed for all this sports, and we're looking forward to another 7 and then another 7 after that, and just keep going.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations from me also. 7 years. Larry and the crew. We've only been with you a short time, but we've enjoyed our stay, and we look forward to being here for a long time ourselves.
Exactly.
So, all right, with that, we're going to talk about our football team. The Philadelphia Eagles, whose schedule was released. We know dates and times of all their games, and we'll give you a little quick early preview. Win-loss, and I'm sure we'll adjust it 5 times after this. But
when you have, I don't know if you've done this, but
what's that?
When you looked at the schedule as a whole, how did you come up with the final wins total, or have you done that already in your mind?
I'm in the 5-6 range.
I've only got 3.
3.
But now we'll go through them and we'll see if I'll pick up another 1 or 2 to get up to where you are. But I only see 3.
I mean, you always end up winning the game you should lose, and vice versa. There's always injuries. There's always a team that you think that is going to be good and doesn't have their quarterback. And they have a nice second half, which we'll see in a minute. They don't fly after week 10. Yeah, which is very interesting. But early on, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a test early.
Yeah, I actually have a win in game 1.
All right, so game 1 will be September 12th at Atlanta versus the Falcons. You have them winning that game.
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's one.
Just wait. Here we go. Look at the road after it. If they don't win that, very trouble to start the season.
All right, then you got the 49ers coming to Philly September 19th. You got the 49ers coming in and winning that game, I assume?
Yes.
You already see a game like that. It's not going to be a big spread. It'll probably be 49ers will probably be a 3-point favorite. It's not going to be anything crazy.
Yeah, and especially if the Eagles do win in Atlanta or it's a close game, you're right. It will only be a 2 or 4 point spread when that game hits.
Okay, so I don't really have a read here. I mean, 1-1 after 2, I think we'll say.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll travel to Dallas. 8:15 game, September 27th. That's a Monday night game. That's a loss. I think you'd agree, right?
Yes.
1 and 2. Then they play the Chiefs. Not much to say there, except for 1 and 3. Then they go down to Carolina. That's Carolina team. Not the best team in the world. Good running back. Who knows if he'll be healthy? What do you think? Win, loss?
I could be swayed to go to a win there, but I have that as a loss.
Okay. 1 and 4. Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl champs, come to Philly. It looks like a Thursday night game. No shot. 1 and 5. Then they get 10 days off and travel to Las Vegas to play the Raiders.
I don't have them winning that game either. I know the Raiders are your typical 500 team, and they can play well one week and lose the next week, and that 10 days off. I mean, that's one where it's possible. If there's a bright spot on this schedule, I would say the next 2 could possibly be a 2-game winning streak for the Eagles. I just have a hard time saying that right now. 2-game winning streak.
Even Detroit. I mean, that's the next game, Halloween. It's Jared Goff. He's not the worst player. I mean, I don't know what they're going to have offensively. They did lose Galladay. It could be a victory, even though they always struggle in Detroit, no matter who Detroit has.
They struggle when Detroit comes to Philadelphia. I think the last time that they had a successful game against Detroit might have been that game in the
snow game. Yeah, well, Sean McCoy. Yeah.
Yep, and they got behind quick in that game.
Yeah.
Big holes with Sean McCoy. You're right.
2-1. So 1 and 6 coming in. So we'll give them a win. We'll go 2 and 6. And you got.
I think the other thing too is there on Halloween. They don't win that game. That's my father's birthday.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but hopefully.
All right. Then next week, the Chargers come to town. I don't see that as a win. I like the quarterback, so we'll go 2 and 7. Then you'll travel out to Denver. Denver's a team you don't know who they're going to have a quarterback.
Denver's terrible.
Yeah. I don't know.
Out there, I think so. If it was in Philly,
I know.
Take on it.
All right, 2 and 8. Then you got the Saints coming to Philly without Drew Brees. So should we beat them? Yes. Well, do you think they're going to have? Who do you think they're going to have a quarterback?
I have no idea by that time who the Saints will have a quarterback. So I mean, that's another one that.
They're going to be Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston. I mean, maybe a combination of the two.
Yeah, it could be.
So we really can't predict that game with not knowing who the quarterback's going to be.
No, just the way that game jumps out after coming back from Denver and all, and home, you're getting the season. I just don't see. I see at this point, without much to play for at all, the Eagles not winning that game as well.
All right, then they go to the Meadowlands to play the Giants.
Not winning that one. But the big wins come in the next week.
Then they stay in the Meadowlands to play the Jets. Three wins there. Then you got the football team coming to Philly versus on December 19th. That's after the bye. They don't have their bye until December 12th.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
Probably lose that game.
And by this time, we'll be right back into the middle of the Sixers.
Yeah.
And those would be the 3 wins that I have and finish out the schedule. I don't know. I mean, could they beat the Giants a game? Probably. Could they beat Washington a game?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't see them beating Dallas at all. I mean, I see Dallas as possibly being in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. They
I would say this though, because I know the connection kind of with Philadelphia, Dallas just being the big rival as we see Dallas. If Dallas isn't in the NFC Championship game this year, there's something wrong.
You know, Dak Prescott.
Injury,
Dak Prescott holds the key to that team.
And I don't know if it's a problem with the coach. I mean, I know it was his first year last year after having I guess McCarthy had some time off after Green Bay.
Yeah.
A season or two, yeah. But then again, Dallas looked good last year too. And of course, with Prescott going down, though, that was a problem.
Right. So, like I said, the Eagles don't travel after the Broncos game. They're home, then they go to New York. They stay home, then it's Washington, and then Dallas comes to Philly. So it's a shame we don't have a decent team, because that would be a really favorable end of the year schedule.
Just my thought exactly.
Yeah.
There were years where you saw that on the schedule, you'd be like, look at that, rolling right into the playoffs.
I know. They could possibly win the last 7 games. A real team.
Yeah.
Well, they did sign Ryan Kerrigan this week from the Redskins. I don't know how much of a difference maker he'll be, but he started 1 game last year at 5.5 sacks. He is Washington's all-time leader in sacks. But he's on the second leg of his career. I don't really understand the signing for a team that's rebuilding. Doesn't make much sense.
I guess that points more to the fact of what they think of who they have and who they're trying to rebuild with. And maybe it's just one of those situations where he's going to be a guy who's going to play a small role. If there's possibly an injury or something, you have a veteran there that you can plug in right away. I don't know.
Well, I don't think he's really the type of guy that's an injury plug. He should be a starter on this team. But
that's true. I agree with that. But when you're looking at the fact that the team wants to rebuild, you're right. And you bring a guy like that who would you would expect that, like you said, to be a starter. As I said, that's probably what they're looking at with the starters that they have. That they definitely need to go out and improve that.
Just everybody. There was a lot of questions on Twitter, and what do I think? And that was my first reaction. I was confused. A 30-year-old, 30-something-old defensive end isn't the way to rebuild. 32 years old.
He won't be stacking Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, addition by subtraction from Washington.
It could be. Well, at this point, though, we looked over the Eagles' schedule. Yeah, you would say 5 wins might be the ceiling for Philadelphia Eagles. Now, when you look at the division, I mean, I think you would agree with me that Dallas is probably the favorite.
Absolutely. Not even close.
Though Washington won it last year, it's going to be Dallas.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. A healthy Dallas is definitely the class of the division, no doubt about it. You look at their wide receivers and quarterback, Zeke Elliott is still a running back. They're not the best defensive team, but they have enough defense to win games and win 6 games in the division. I didn't look at their schedule, but I'm sure they have a similar schedule to the Eagles. They're probably a 10-11 win team.
Yeah, because you would think that playing Denver and playing the Chargers and the Chiefs, of course, will be a tough game for them.
Yeah.
As well as playing the Raiders. It's Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs, and Chargers. There's a good chance of 3 wins there. I mean, Dallas probably loses one of those games. It would probably be the Chargers who would beat them. But
yeah, Chargers are an up-and-coming team.
Yeah, they're always pretty good until they're not pretty good.
Right.
That team's about as frustrating as you can get, I think.
They're the West Coast Eagles. I've said that for years.
That's exactly who they are.
I've said that for a long time. They're the West Coast Eagles.
He said the only difference is the Eagles happened to push through and get that Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Right.
Caught lightning in a bottle that
Yep.
year.
All right, 5 minutes left. This is our normal NASCAR time.
Great. Yeah, it was a race close to home this weekend. It was a very, very interesting race.
Yeah.
And Bowman coming out with his fourth win was very impressive. And as we said to each other, I think on Sunday, his car was the best car halfway through the race.
Yeah, and I spotted that and hit a 17-1 shot on him. Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you later in the day, though?
What? What, the hockey?
Yeah, I know. I thought you said that you put that on the Magic.
Yeah, just a little bit of it. Yeah, it wasn't.
A little bit. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of those games where it was definitely going to be a bench game for the Sixers, and unfortunately, the bench played pretty well.
Yeah, what I didn't think is that Orlando's starting team is a bench, basically. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and where's NASCAR this week? I forgot to look.
I already looked. I guess I should have looked before I mentioned it. I'm pulling it up quick. I thought it's the Race of Americas. Wherever is that in Texas?
I think it is.
Is that a new track? It's a road course, right?
I believe you're right on that. It is a road course, and let me pull that up here as well.
Circuit of the Americas, it's called. Austin, Texas. Yeah, it's 68 laps, so it's definitely a road course.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about it much Sunday. I watched the whole race. They didn't really mention it much.
No, they didn't. You're right. We should have looked into that. But the thing is, I remember on our first episode, we talked about this race. The fact that this race, they kind of stuck up on us here with it being that road course, another road course race coming in, and
it's a Grand Prix track. I don't think they've ever raced here. Echo Park, Texas Grand Prix. Yeah, that should be exciting.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
In other years, I would say this is built for Kevin Harvick, but I don't want to say that this year.
Well, we know Chase Elliott's going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
He's the road course specialist. It's a 3.4-mile road course in Austin, Texas.
Well, if you're not someone who's a NASCAR fan, but have always wanted to check it out, this is not your typical NASCAR race.
Right.
It would definitely be one that could get you interested in it, and definitely be one that's exciting to watch.
Yeah, you're not going to say it's going to be a bunch of left-hand turns because it won't be.
No.
I actually enjoyed the road courses the last couple of years.
Yeah, I have too.
Now, you don't really see like the road course specialists like you did in the past, but we'll see about this Sunday. They used to bring Boris Said in there and AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger must have really pissed somebody off in NASCAR because for him not to be a full-time driver with some of the guys they throw out there.
No, you're exactly right. When you brought that name up, yeah, that just rang a bell. Like, oh yeah, where is he now?
He's in the Xfinity Series.
Okay.
He's running a full season in the Xfinity Series. I've watched pretty much every Xfinity race. I'm enjoying that too. It's Austin Cindric, watching him develop. He's going to be your next star in NASCAR. Reminds me a lot of a young Kyle Busch. He just has a lot of aggressiveness, and he's out there to win. That's it. He just wants to win.
Yeah, and one of those things too is you hope those guys who out there who have that mentality, and those guys who are coming up through, they get themselves a decent pit crew once that happens as well, which most times can make or break somebody coming up through.
Right.
Especially if you get with a good pit crew, it actually benefits them coming forward.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you still have the Phillies game on, but what was Alec Bohm doing?
I'm watching Tampa and Florida.
Okay.
That's
Well, Harper led off the inning with a single. Reese Hoskins flew out. Alec Bohm hit one off of the wall in right field and got thrown out going to second. So now there's 2 outs with Harper on second, with Harper on third because he didn't score on the hit. So they're not scoring this inning. Okay.
Wow. They just can't score runs. This is year after year after year. The team can't score.
No, you might as well just go get Jacob DeGrom to come here too, because it just seems to be the way it's going. without them being able to get runs. And it's one of those things too where you take the game like tonight, which is frustrating as a fan, but it's got to be frustrating as a player too, because Zach Wheeler's pitching well and he's giving up a run, and it's like, well, that's probably going to be the end.
It's amazing. It's just something else. The lineups they put together, the holes that they have, and then the gaps and the long streaks these guys go without hits. It's just...
And it's one of those things where Citizens Bank Park was built for a team to hit the ball out of it.
Right.
It's not happening.
No.
It's not happening now.
I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, and that's why they're striking out so much. But
well, I think the last time I saw them, their third in baseball was strikeout percentage.
yeah,
I'm surprised there's two teams worse.
I see the replay now. Get it right at the bottom of the wall. Look at that! Look at that throw! Oh my gosh! Miami Marlins look like a major league. Is that Adam Duvall in left field, right field?
It might be. I'm not sure. That was a heck of a throw.
Huh. What is Harper doing? Was there 2 outs?
Yeah, there's one.
That's why you gotta wait. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess he didn't get a good read on the ball, but that's that old 6-0 Lescano out there.
Yeah.
Your old Philly.
Bobby Abreu.
Yeah, the Bull. I think the Bull had that great of an arm, but
I didn't see him play.
yeah, a little bit before your time.
Yeah.
Got hit though.
Yeah. Similar stats to Dick Allen. He was like the same type of player, I guess. Power hitter.
True.
And there's that dude, first ball swinging.
He get there? Nope.
Nice hustle.
Yeah, the Phillies aren't going to score tonight the way they're going now, unless something breaks down on the Marlins part, and if the Marlins have to get another run or two, it looks like it's one of those things you can just get yourself 15 guys and put them in a Miami Marlins uniform and throw them out there.
They'll beat the Phillies. Yeah, that was Adam Duvall, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. He kills the Phillies. He's not hitting home runs for the Braves. He's throwing guys out for the Marlins.
And the Marlins have Dickerson, who the Phillies had last year, correct?
Corey Dickerson, yeah.
2 years ago, the Phillies had him.
Yeah, right.
With Gabe Kapler. They picked him up from Pittsburgh. He played pretty well before he got injured.
Yeah, I thought he was a decent player. Better than everything they have now. He'd be the second best hitter on this team, besides Harper, probably.
Yeah, how about how well Gabe Kapler's doing with a team that wasn't expected to do anything? I don't know how much of it's him, if it's how much of the fact that people underestimated the Giants or whatever, but it just seems like some of these either managers or players getting away from Philadelphia is something that has benefited their career. I thought if Scott Kingery went to Boston, he turned into Chase Utley.
Yeah, Terry Francona leaves here, wins World Series in Boston.
Terry Francona couldn't manage his way out of a wet paper bag in Philadelphia.
No, yeah, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Had Cleveland in the World Series, which we know doesn't happen often in Cleveland. Fortunately, though, a Cleveland manager did bring a World Series to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
which worked out. But he was managing Boston and took them to some World Series or whatever. And and I don't know how well Gabe Kapler is going to work out this year. But it was one of those things to where when the Giants hired him last year, I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I know. He knew the general manager. He's friends with him.
Right. That's what it was. It was one of those things to where it was just like Gabe Kapler was someone who, well, when I look back at it, I miss him with Girardi because I which is a shame to say. I thought Joe Girardi, after being with the Yankees and winning a World Series, but
my opinion on baseball is that the manager's not really the make or break for baseball teams. It's the players. You could have put a mannequin in the dugout for the Yankees World Series runs, and they would have won the World Series.
You got that, right? Especially that team that beat the Phillies in 2009.
Yeah, a guy like Rivera in the pen, a lineup like that. Anybody could have managed them.
A-Rod, Jeter, Teixeira.
Yeah.
Right there. Now, the problem, the Phillies were a very good team that year. Obviously, they got the World Series. The problem that they ran into in the World Series was Pedro Martinez was on fumes, and Cole Hamels, for some reason, really struggled. and they needed him to come up big in Game 3. I was actually at Game 3, and it was at home, and the Phillies got a lead, and he couldn't do it. That ended the chance of the Phillies going back to back as World Series champions.
Well, that was just the Yankees lineup that killed left-handed pitchers. And unfortunately, Hamels was a left-handed pitcher. Nice play by Boone here.
Yeah, it was. You don't get runs for those nice plays, though. He's unfired. But he can save that.
So the Giants are 25-16, or 14-4 at home. They're half a game ahead of San Diego, who I like this year, and the Dodgers are 2 games back. I don't think the Giants are going to be in first place long.
No, I don't either. But it's just surprising that they're doing as well as they are.
Yeah.
They dropped 2 games over the weekend to the Pirates that they shouldn't have dropped. I guess the second game they lost to the Pirates, they had a big lead late and lost it, and they lost the extra inning game. I think that was on Friday. They lost the extra inning game. The guy for Pittsburgh who's leading the league in hitting, he had a huge triple in the extra innings. That's the Pirates winning that game. I forget his name right now.
It's not Charlie Hayes' son, is it?
No. No, left-handed batter. I forget his name, but he's around 50 hits for the season. Is the staff looking it up?
Yeah, they are, but all I have is players. Let me see. I thought it was Hayes. Charlie Hayes' son's on that team.
Charlie Hayes, and another Philly who, Philly third baseman who was interesting guy in Philadelphia.
Yeah. He was like
he also caught the last out of a World Series win for the Yankees. I think that was over the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, I think it was. Braves were there every season. Are you talking about Adam Frazier?
Yes, sorry, that's what it is.
Oh wow, I didn't realize he was starting off that good.
I didn't either until I happened to put that on the other night. Fortunately, I get Pirates games here.
That's right. And Xander Bogaerts is tied with him for most hits in the major leagues. And J.D. Martinez also has 52. So the Boston Red Sox have 2 of the 3 leading hitters in baseball, which will definitely explain why they're off to such a great start.
And they have Nick Pivetta, who's pitching like Cy Young. So
what's he 6-1 now?
I think so. He's doing very well.
I said.
And as Corey Dickerson beats out an infield single.
He's 5-0.
Yeah, 5-0. Yeah, so he had 5 wins in his life with the Phillies.
No, probably not.
It didn't seem like it.
Jake Arrieta has 4 wins for the Cubs this year. That's 9 wins. They could have been the Phillies 4 and 5 starters, and we'd have 9 extra wins.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Jake Arrieta was probably, if not the worst signing in Phillies history, he's up there.
Yeah, for a guy that actually played.
What did he pay for?
Yeah, you take away like a Danny Tartabull and guys that never actually played. Yeah, he's up there.
Danny Tartabull had 7 at-bats for the Phillies, 48 foul balls, but was never heard from again.
I know.
That's still.
Now, who else? Charlie Morton. What do you have? 1 start for the Phillies?
Yeah.
And then last year he was like a Cy Young candidate. They went to the World Series the year before.
David Robertson.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Archie Bradley's David Robertson 2.0.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too. But I don't know because I've never had it happen where there's been an oblique injury.
Right.
But oh boy, for a pitcher and whatever, that's gotta be trouble. And it just. Yeah, hopefully it's not one of those things. I mean, I know he got hit around in the minors the other day, but that's going to happen when you're trying to rehab yourself.
He's back tonight, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he'll probably get in this one.
Yeah.
The Marlins are threatening again in the top of the 7th.
Yeah.
Zach Wheeler struck this guy out last time, so he's a big strikeout here once again.
This is the former Red Sox, Liam.
It is.
All right, we'd love to stay and talk all night, but once again, we were hour and 10 minutes. It felt like 10 minutes. All right.
Yeah, we'll have an interesting show next week because that will probably be during game 2 of the Sixers' first round. So that should be fun. We'll discuss game 1 and see what's going on with game 2 of the Sixers' first round playoffs next week.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, definitely the next 2 nights we'll find out who they play. And, we'll go over the first game, like you just said. And we'll have a lot more to talk about as far as the series and, the other series. We'll know more. And we'll probably talk about, probably 4 or 5 Phillies losses in between.
Unfortunately, we probably will.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, everyone, hit us up. Look at us on Twitter. We have no problems taking all your comments and questions and things like that. And even if you want to come on and call us every name in the book, go for it. We're not going to block you.
That's right.
And we may comment back and have a little bit of a discussion with you, but that's the fun of being sports fans, that we can do that, and hopefully no one takes anything as overly personal. We're just frustrated Philadelphia fans and trying to not be.
Right. Yeah.
And thanks everyone for listening to Philly Sports Talk with Cashy Chris right here on IE Sports Radio. IE Sports Radio has been going strong for 7 years. It has been your direct feed for all the sports for 7 years. It still is, and will be going forward. And before we get off tonight, let me once again go back and remind everyone of the Southern California Warriors. They are a semi-pro football team. In the world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film to try out for professional teams, big-time college tryouts, or playing just to stay in shape. No matter what, semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, like we are in Philadelphia, we support the SoCal Warriors and we support semi-pro sports. If you love your sport and want to get a second chance, that second chance you've been waiting for, being a semi-pro athlete like those of the SoCal Warriors, is what you need to look into. On Twitter, look them up at SoCal Warriors. That is on Twitter, SoCal Warriors. Look them up today. Give them your support. Support semi-pro sports.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you.
From the rice.